The alarm bells rang through the monitoring station like angry metal birds. Officer Zethkar jumped from his sleep pod, his 6 eyes blinking in the harsh red light. Something was wrong. Very wrong. What is happening? He asked, running his clawed hands through his purple fur. His voice shook a little. In 30 years of service, he had never heard the deep space alarm sound like this. "Sir, you need to see this," called Officer Nimtal from her station. Her tentacles moved fast over the control panels. The sensors picked up something big. Really big. Zethkar moved to the main display screen. What he saw made his blood turn cold. A massive shape moved through space, dark against the stars. It was huge. Bigger than their largest battle cruisers. Bigger than anything the Galactic Confederation had ever built. "How big is it?" he whispered. "The computer says it is 3 kilometers long, 1 kilometer wide." Nimtal's voice was quiet with fear. "Sir, nothing should be that big and still be able to move through space." The shape on the screen looked wrong. It was not smooth like Confederation ships. It had sharp angles and strange bumps. Parts of it glowed with a blue light that hurt to look at. The sensors showed energy readings that made no sense. "Where did it come from?" Zethkar asked. "The outer rim. Sector 7741, it just appeared. No warning. No signal. The sensors did not see it until it was already moving." Zethkar felt his hearts beating fast. The outer rim was empty space. Nothing lived there. Nothing could live there. The radiation would kill any known species in days. Send the data to Confederation Command. Now. Use the emergency channels. His voice was steady, but his hands shook as he spoke. The data packet shot through space faster than light, carrying news that would shake the galaxy. On the capital world of Nexus Prime, the message arrived at the command center in the middle of the night cycle. Admiral Kesavoth was old, even for her species. She had lived through 400 years and 3 galactic wars. She thought she had seen everything. When her aide woke her with news of the mystery ship, she laughed. "Another sensor error," she said, waving a scaled hand. "Fix the equipment and let me sleep." "Ma'am, 3 different stations confirm the readings. The ship is real." Admiral Kesavoth sat up in her sleeping chamber. The light from her aide's datapad showed the fear in his young eyes. She took the pad and looked at the numbers. Then she looked again. "This cannot be right," she said. "Nothing generates this much power. These energy readings would need the output of a small star." "The sensors have been checked twice, Admiral. The readings are correct." She stood up, her old joints making small popping sounds. "Call an emergency meeting. Get all the fleet commanders now." Within an hour, the top military minds of the galaxy sat around a glowing table. The holographic display showed the mysterious ship moving slowly through space. It looked like death itself sliding between the stars. "Theories," Admiral Kesavoth said simply. "A weapon," said General Vorks, his insect eyes clicking as he thought. "Someone built a super weapon. Maybe the hegemony from the far spiral." "The hegemony does not have this technology," replied Admiral Stoss. Her blue skin looked pale in the light. "No one does. Look at these power readings. Look at the hull thickness. This thing could take the combined fire of our entire fleet and not even notice." "Then what is it?" asked Commander Thel. His forearms moved in nervous patterns. "Where did it come from?" Admiral Kesavoth touched a control. The display changed to show old star charts. "The ship appeared in this sector. Our records show only one thing of interest there." "What?" several officers asked together. "A small yellow star with 9 planets. 3rd planet has life. We surveyed it 200 years ago." She paused. The species there had just learned to make fire. The room went quiet. Every officer stared at the display. "You mean—" General Vork started to speak, then stopped. "The species was called human. Our survey team said they were primitive. No technology, no spaceflight. They had not even learned to work metal properly." "That is impossible," Commander Thel said. His voice was very quiet. "No species advances that fast. It takes millions of years to go from fire to space travel. Yet the ship came from their system," Admiral Kesavoth said. "The trajectory is clear." Meanwhile, in the cold darkness of space, the ship continued its steady journey. On its bridge, Commander Hyunwoo Kim stood looking out at the stars. He was tall for a human with dark hair and calm eyes. His uniform was simple but clean. Behind him, his crew worked quietly at their stations. "So Young, how are the engines running?" he asked without turning around. Chief Engineer So Young Park looked up from her screens. She was small and quick, with oil stains on her hands from working on the machines. Running smooth, Captain. The fusion cores are barely working. We could go 10 times faster if needed. Good. Dongmin, any signs of alien ships? Tactical Officer Dongmin Lee was young but smart. His fingers moved over his controls like a musician playing an instrument. Yes, sir. Long-range sensors show about 50 ships moving our way. They are still very far off, but getting closer. 50 ships, Hyunwoo said with a small smile. They really want to make sure we notice them. Should we change course? So Young asked. No. Stay on the planned route. Let them come to us. So Young nodded, but she looked worried. Captain, are you sure about this? The mission briefing said they might try to destroy us on sight. Hyunwoo finally turned from the window. His face was kind but serious. The briefing also said they are afraid of things they do not understand. Right now they are very afraid. How afraid? Dongmin asked. Afraid enough to send 50 warships to stop one exploration vessel. Hyunwoo sat in his command chair. It was not fancy or impressive. Just a simple chair for a simple man doing a hard job. Back on Nexus Prime, the emergency meetings continued. More ships appeared on the long-range sensors. The single mysterious vessel had become a crisis. We should attack now, General Vork said, hitting the table with his fist. Before it gets to our space. Attack with what? Admiral Stoss asked. Our weapons might not even scratch its hull. Then we use everything. Every ship. Every weapon. Blow it to pieces before it can do whatever it came to do. Admiral Kesevoth was quiet for a long time. She had fought in wars where billions died. She had seen planets turn to dust. But something about this felt different. No, she said finally. We try to talk first. Talk? General Vork stood up, his wings buzzing with anger. That thing is a weapon of war. You can see it in the design. Those are weapon ports along the hull. Those energy readings are from military power systems. Maybe. Or maybe we are seeing what we expect to see. She touched a control, and the display zoomed in on the ship. Look closer. Yes, it has weapons, but look at the other parts. Those are sensor arrays, research equipment, exploration tools. The other officers looked more carefully. The ship did have weapons, but it also had other things. Things that looked like science equipment. Even if you are right, Commander Thel said, it is still dangerous. Those weapons could destroy our best ships. Yes, Admiral Kesevoth agreed. But the question is not whether it can destroy us. The question is whether it wants to. The mystery ship continued moving through space. Its path was steady and straight, like it knew exactly where it was going. The energy reading stayed constant. It was not hiding. It was not running. It was just moving forward, calm as a moon in orbit. On the ship's bridge, Hyunwoo watched the alien fleet getting closer on his screens. 50 ships had become 70, then 100, then more. They are really worried, So Young said. Good, Hyunwoo replied. Worried people ask questions. Asking questions is the first step to understanding. And if they do not want to understand? Dongmin asked. Hyunwoo was quiet for a moment. Then he smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who knew a secret. Then they will learn anyway, he said. One way or another, they will learn what humans can do. The ship moved on through the dark, carrying its crew toward a meeting that would change everything. Behind it, the stars watched in silence, keeping their secrets. Ahead lay the unknown, and the choice between peace and something much worse. Fleet Admiral Ji-Hoon Nam stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Star Crusher. He was not human, though his name might suggest otherwise. His species had long ago adopted human naming patterns after studying their culture from a distance. Ji-Hoon's skin was a deep green color and his eyes were large and black. He had served the Confederation for 60 years and had never lost a battle. Today he was scared. The human ship filled his main screen. Even at this distance it looked massive and threatening. His fleet of 300 ships surrounded it in a wide circle. But somehow he felt like they were the ones being hunted. Any response to our hails? He asked his communications officer. Nothing, sir. The ship continues on its course. It acts like we are not even here. Ji-Hoon felt a chill run down his spine. In his 60 years of service, every enemy had at least tried to talk. Pirates begged for mercy. Rebels made demands. Even the savage void hunters had screamed challenges before attacking. But this ship just moved forward in silence like death itself. Sir, called his sensor officer, I am getting strange readings from the human vessel. What kind of readings? The hull. It is scanning us back. Every time we scan them, they scan us. Their sensors are much more powerful than ours. Ji-hoon frowned.
How much more powerful?
Sir, they can probably count the rivets on our hull plating. They know everything about our ships, our weapons, our shield strength, even our crew numbers. On the human ship, Communications Officer Eun-ji Cho sat at her station, listening to the alien chatter on dozens of frequencies. She was young and smart, with short black hair and quick fingers. Her job was to understand what the aliens were saying and thinking. "Captain," she called to Hyun-woo, "they are getting more nervous. The fleet commander is asking his superiors for permission to open fire." "What are his superiors telling him?" "To wait. They want to try talking first." Yoon-ji paused, listening to her headphones. "Captain, they are scared. Really scared. They keep talking about our power readings and our hull thickness. They think we are some kind of super weapon." Captain Tae-hyun-yoon, the ship's marine commander, laughed from his station. He was a big man with strong hands and a soldier's bearing. "If they think this old boat is scary, wait until they see what we left back home." Hyun-woo gave him a sharp look. "Remember the mission, Tae-hyun. We are here to make friends, not start wars." "Yes, sir. But friends should know what happens to people who are not friendly." Back on Ji-hoon's flagship, the communications officer suddenly sat up straight. "Sir, we are getting a signal from the human ship." "Put it on screen," Ji-hoon ordered. The main screen flickered and changed. Instead of the dark hull of the human ship, it now showed the inside of their bridge. Ji-hoon saw creatures that looked almost like his own species, but different. They had smaller eyes and strange skin colors. They wore simple uniforms and moved with quiet confidence. The human in the center chair stood up. He was tall and calm, with kind eyes and a serious face. "I am Commander Hyun-woo Kim of the Earth vessel Indomitable," the human said in perfect Confederation standard. "We come in peace." Ji-hoon felt his jaw drop. The human spoke their language like he was born to it. Perfect accent. Perfect grammar, How do you know our language?" Ji-hoon asked. "We have been listening to your broadcast for many years," Hyun-woo replied simply. "We wanted to learn about you before we made contact." "Listening to our broadcasts?" Ji-hoon's mind raced. "From how far away?" "From our home system. About 40 light years from here." The bridge went silent. Ji-hoon felt sick. If the humans could pick up radio signals from 40 light years away, their technology was far beyond what the Confederation possessed. "What do you want?" Ji-hoon asked. "To talk, to learn, to see if our peoples can be friends." "And if we refuse?" Hyun-woo was quiet for a moment. "Then you refuse. We will not force friendship on anyone, but you will not leave either. Not until we have explored this part of space. Earth gave us a job to do. We will do it." Ji-hoon looked at his officers. They all looked as confused and frightened as he felt. This was not how first contact was supposed to work. The humans were supposed to be primitive. They were supposed to beg for mercy or run away in fear. "Commander Kim," Ji-hoon said carefully, "our records show your species was primitive just 200 years ago. How did you advance so quickly?" Hyun-woo smiled. It was not a threatening smile, but somehow it made Ji-hoon even more nervous. "We learned from our mistakes," Hyun-woo said. "We learned very quickly." On Nexus Prime, Admiral Kesavoth watched the conversation with growing alarm. The humans were not acting like any species she had ever encountered. They were too calm, too confident, too prepared. "They have been watching us," she said to her staff. "For years, maybe decades. They know our language. They know our technology. They probably know our military strength." "What do we do?" asked General Vorks. "We find out what they really want, and we hope they are telling the truth about being peaceful." Back on the Indomitable, Yoon-ji Cho was listening to dozens of alien conversations at once. Her equipment could pick up every radio signal the alien fleet was sending. "Captain," she said quietly, "they are very confused. Some of them want to attack us. Others want to run away. They keep asking each other how we got so advanced so fast. And what are they concluding? They think we might have found some kind of super technology, or that we are not really from the primitive planet they surveyed." Tae-hyun-yoon looked up from his marine reports. "Should I tell them about the other ships?" "Not yet," Hyun-woo said. "Let them get used to one ship first." Dong-min Lee was tracking all the alien vessels on his screens. "Captain, more ships are arriving. We now have over 400 alien vessels surrounding us. 400 ships," So Young Park said from her engineering station. "They really do not want us to leave, or they are preparing to attack," Taehyun added. Hyun-woo studied the tactical display. 400 ships was a lot, even by human standards. But the alien ships were smaller and less advanced than they appeared. Their weapons were basic energy beams and simple missiles. Their shields were weak. Their hulls were thin. Yoonji, open a channel to all the alien ships. Channel open, sir. Hyun-woo stood up and faced the camera. Attention, Confederation fleet. I know you are worried about us. I know you have questions. I am willing to answer some of those questions. On every alien ship, officers gathered around their screens to listen. You want to know how we advanced so quickly? The answer is simple. We had to. Ji-hoon leaned forward. Had to? What do you mean? Our planet is dangerous. Our species is violent. For thousands of years, we fought each other with sticks and stones. Then we learned to make metal weapons. Then gunpowder. Then nuclear weapons. The alien officers listened in silence. Many of their species had never developed nuclear weapons at all. We nearly destroyed ourselves many times, Hyun-woo continued. But each time we learned. We adapted. We grew stronger. And now? Ji-hoon asked. Now we no longer fight each other. We learned that our real enemies were not other humans. Our real enemies were ignorance and fear and hatred. So we defeated them. How? By working together. By sharing knowledge. By exploring the universe instead of trying to conquer it. Admiral Kesevoth, watching from Nexus Prime, felt a chill. The humans' words sounded noble, but there was something underneath them. Something that suggested great power being held in check. Commander Kim, she said, her voice coming through the communication link. This is Admiral Kesevoth of Confederation Command. Your ship is very advanced, very powerful. Our sensors show weapons that could destroy our largest vessels. Yes, Hyun-woo agreed simply. Why should we trust that you come in peace? Hyun-woo was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was soft but somehow more frightening than any shout. Because, Admiral, if we came for war, you would already be dead. The communication channel went silent. On 400 ships, alien officers stared at their screens. On Nexus Prime, Admiral Kesevoth felt her hands shake. You see, Hyun-woo continued, we have been watching you for a long time. We know about your wars, your conquests, your empire built on the fear of smaller species. We bring order to the galaxy, Admiral Kesevoth said, but her voice sounded weak. You bring control. There is a difference. And what would you bring? Hyun-woo smiled again. Choice, the choice to grow. The choice to learn. The choice to become something better than you are now. And if we choose to remain as we are, then you remain as you are. But you will no longer be alone in the galaxy. The implications of his words sank in slowly. The humans were not asking permission to explore. They were not requesting to join the Confederation. They were simply announcing their presence. How many of you are there? Ji-hoon asked quietly. Enough, Hyun-woo replied. More than enough. The human ship continued its course, moving steadily toward Confederation space. 400 ships followed it like worried shepherds, uncertain whether they were guarding a threat or being led to slaughter. The battle began at exactly 1432 Galactic Standard Time. Fleet Admiral Ji-hoon Nam had received orders from Nexus Prime that were simple and clear. Disable the human ship and force it to surrender. The Confederation could not allow an unknown vessel to enter their core systems. Too much was at stake. All ships prepare to fire, Ji-hoon ordered. His voice was steady, but his heart beat fast in his chest. Target their engines and weapon systems. We want them alive for questioning. The human ship Indomitable continued moving forward like nothing was happening. It did not speed up or change course. It did not raise shields or power weapons. It just kept going, as calm as a mountain. Sir, his weapons officer called. We are getting strange readings from the human ship. What kind of readings? They are powering up their systems, but... Sir, the power output is impossible. No ship can generate that much energy. Ji-hoon looked at his displays. The human ship was lighting up like a small star. Energy readings climbed higher and higher, far beyond what any known technology could produce. Fire, he ordered. 400 Confederation ships opened fire at once. Energy beams and missiles filled space with light and thunder. The barrage was massive, enough to destroy a small moon. It struck the human ship from all sides. When the light faded, the Indomitable was still there, unchanged, undamaged. Its shields had not even flickered. On the human bridge, weapons specialist Jae Sung-ko looked up from his console. He was a quiet man with careful eyes and steady hands. Captain, they are firing at us. I noticed, Hyun-woo Kim replied calmly. Any damage? No, sir. The shields absorbed everything easily. The alien weapons are very primitive. Return fire. Disable their engines only. We do not want to kill anyone if we can help it. Jae-sung-ko touched a single control. Firing. The human ship's response was nothing like the alien barrage. Instead of hundreds of weapons firing wildly, the Indomitable fired just 12 precise shots. Each shot was a beam of pure energy that cut through space like a sword. 12 alien ships suddenly went dark. Their engines stopped. Their weapons went silent. They drifted in space, powerless but unharmed. What just happened? Ji-hoon whispered. His tactical officer was staring at his screens in shock. Sir, they disabled 12 of our ships with 12 shots. Perfect accuracy. They hit exactly what they aimed for and nothing else. How is that possible? I do not know, sir. Their targeting systems must be incredibly advanced. Ji-hoon looked at the drifting ships. The humans had proven they could destroy his entire fleet with ease. But they had chosen not to kill. They had chosen mercy. All ships cease fire, he ordered. Sir, his weapons officer asked. I said cease fire. The Confederation fleet stopped shooting. In the silence that followed, the human ship continued forward, moving past the disabled vessels like they were not there. On the human bridge, AI interface coordinator Yoo-jin Han was monitoring all the alien communications. She was young but brilliant, able to process dozens of data streams at once. Captain, the alien fleet is confused. They are asking each other what just happened. Many of them want to retreat. And their commanders? The fleet admiral is requesting new orders from his superiors. He is telling them that conventional weapons are useless against us. Medical officer Min-ho Shin looked up from his station where he was monitoring the disabled alien ships. Captain, should I prepare to receive wounded? Their ships lost life support when we disabled them. Yes, and prepare to send medical teams if needed. We disabled their ships but not their people. Min-ho nodded and began preparing medical supplies. He was a kind man who believed that healing was the most important job in the universe, even during war. On Nexus Prime, Admiral Kesavoth watched the battle reports with growing horror. The humans had effortlessly defeated her best fleet. 12 shots, 12 disabled ships. Perfect precision. No casualties. They could have destroyed every ship, she said quietly to her staff. Why did they hold back? Maybe they want prisoners, suggested General Vorks. No, if they wanted prisoners, they would have disabled more ships. They were sending a message. What message? That they could kill us all whenever they choose. They are showing restraint, not weakness. The communication board lit up with incoming messages from across the galaxy. Every military commander wanted to know what was happening. Fear was spreading through the Confederation like a plague. Get me a direct line to the human ship, Admiral Kesavoth ordered. Yes, ma'am. The screen flickered and showed the human bridge. Commander Hyunwoo Kim sat calmly in his chair, looking like he had not just won an impossible battle. Admiral Kesavoth, he said with a slight nod. I assume you have questions? How? She asked simply. How what? How did you defeat our entire fleet so easily? How are your weapons so advanced? How did you become so powerful? Hyunwoo was quiet for a moment. You want the truth? Yes. The truth is that this ship was not built for war. It is an exploration vessel. Our scientists use it to study distant stars and planets. Admiral Kesavoth felt her blood turn to ice. An exploration vessel? Yes, it has some defensive weapons, but they are old models. We have much better technology back home. Then why? Why is it so powerful? Because on Earth we learned that space is dangerous. Our exploration ships need to protect themselves. This vessel could survive flying into a star if necessary. The implications hit Admiral Kesavoth like a physical blow. If this was just a science ship, what were their actual warships like? Commander Kim, she said carefully, what would happen if we continued to attack you? Hyunwoo's expression did not change, but somehow the temperature on her bridge seemed to drop. We would defend ourselves, he said simply. And if we sent our entire military against you, then we would call for help from home. How much help? Enough. On the Indomitable, intelligence analyst Su Bin Kang was working at her station, processing data about the alien fleet. She was small and quiet, but her mind was sharp as a blade. Captain, she called, I have been analyzing the alien ships and their formation patterns. What did you find? They are using outdated tactics, sir. Their formation is based on fighting enemies with similar technology. They have no defense against advanced targeting systems or energy shields. How outdated? About 300 years by our standards. They fight like we used to fight during the colonial wars. Hyunwoo nodded. Humans had learned hard lessons during those wars. They had been forced to develop new weapons, new tactics, new ways of thinking about combat. The galaxy had not learned those lessons yet. Subin, what is your assessment of their overall military strength? Based on what I have seen, sir, the entire Confederation military could be defeated by a single battle group from Earth Fleet. A single battle group? Yes, sir. Maybe two if they fought intelligently. On Admiral Kesevoth's flagship, the sensors officer was studying the human ship with growing amazement. Admiral, I have completed a full scan of the human vessel. What did you find? The ship is mostly empty space, ma'am. Huge sections are dedicated to science laboratories and research equipment. Less than 20% of the ship is weapons or military systems. You are certain? Yes, ma'am. This really is a research vessel, but the weapons it does carry are far more advanced than anything we have. Admiral Kesevoth stared at the tactical display. The human ship continued its slow, steady progress toward Confederation space. Her fleet followed at a respectful distance, no longer trying to stop it. Get me the emergency council, she ordered. All members, immediately. Within minutes, the holographic forms of the Confederation's top leaders appeared around her briefing table. They had been watching the battle from their various worlds and stations. The situation has changed, Admiral Kesevoth began. The humans are far more advanced than we thought possible. How advanced? Asked Council Leader Vexthul, his scaled face showing concern. Advanced enough to defeat our entire fleet with a science ship. The council members looked at each other with growing alarm. What do they want? Asked Councillor Helteron. They say they want to explore, to make peaceful contact. And you believe them? Admiral Kesevoth was quiet for a long moment. I think they are telling the truth. But I also think they are not telling us everything. Explain. They have been watching us for decades. They know our language, our technology, our military strength. This contact is not accidental. It is planned. Invasion? No, something else. Something more subtle. Back on the human ship, Hyunwoo Kim stood at the observation deck looking out at the alien fleet that surrounded them. The ships looked small and fragile compared to the Indomitable. Diplomatic attaché Woo Jin-im joined him at the window. He was a thoughtful man with kind eyes and a talent for understanding other species. Captain, what do you think they are really thinking? They are afraid, Hyunwoo replied. But they are also curious. Fear and curiosity together can lead to either friendship or war. Which do you think it will be? Hyunwoo watched an alien patrol ship drift past the window. Its crew was probably looking back at him, wondering what manner of creature he was. That depends on them, he said. We have shown them we are strong. Now we must show them we are wise. And if wisdom is not enough, Hyunwoo's reflection in the window looked tired but determined. Then we will show them what humans do to protect themselves and their friends. The moment of choice arrived exactly 72 hours later. Admiral Do-hyun Choi materialized on the bridge of the Indomitable in a shimmering column of light. He was tall and distinguished, with gray hair and eyes that had seen both the beauty and horror of the universe. Behind him, the transportation beam faded away, leaving him standing calmly in the center of the human bridge. Commander Hyunwoo Kim stood to greet him. Admiral, welcome aboard. Commander, status report. The Confederation leadership has been deliberating for 3 days. They are still divided. Some want to fight. Others want to negotiate. Most are simply afraid. Admiral Do-hyun Choi nodded. He had expected this. Fear was a powerful force, but it could lead to either wisdom or foolishness. And Admiral Kesevoth? She has been arguing for peaceful contact. But she is being overruled by the military hardliners. Show me. The main screen displayed the current positions of all forces in the region. The Confederation Annihilation Fleet had arrived and was taking aggressive positions. Over 800 alien warships now surrounded the single human vessel. They are preparing to attack, Admiral Do-hyun observed. Yes, sir. Within the hour, according to our intelligence. Then it is time. Admiral Do-hyun Choi touched a device on his wrist. All units, this is Choi. Execute Revelation Protocol. Across the galaxy, space itself seemed to come alive. Around every major Confederation world, human ships that had been invisible suddenly became visible. Cloaking fields dropped. Stealth systems shut down. Ships that had been hiding in asteroid fields behind moons and in the empty spaces between stars revealed themselves. The reaction was immediate and overwhelming. On Nexus Prime, the Planetary Defense Center erupted in chaos. Alarms screamed as sensors detected dozens of massive ships appearing in their home system. Ships that had been there all along, watching and waiting. How many? Shouted General Vorks, his wings buzzing in panic. 47 ships in our system alone, sir. His sensor officer replied, voice shaking. All of them larger than our biggest dreadnoughts. Are they attacking? No, sir. They are just there waiting. The same scene played out on hundreds of worlds across Confederation space. Human ships appeared like ghosts becoming solid, revealing the truth that no one wanted to believe. On Admiral Kesavoth's flagship, Ambassador Yejin Ryu appeared via holographic projection. She was a small woman with intelligent eyes and a diplomat's calm manner. Admiral Kesavoth, she said with a polite bow. I am Ambassador Yejin Ryu of the Earth Diplomatic Corps. I come with an offer from the Human Federation. Admiral Kesavoth stared at the projection. Around her, alien officers worked frantically at their stations trying to make sense of what was happening. An offer? She managed to say. Yes, the offer of partnership. Partnership? You have our entire civilization surrounded. Ambassador Yejin smiled. It was a kind smile, but there was steel underneath it. Admiral, we have had your civilization surrounded for years. We are only now letting you see it. What? What do you want? The same thing we have always wanted. To work together. To explore the galaxy together. To face the challenges of the universe as friends instead of enemies. And if we refuse, then you refuse. We will not force you to be our friends. But you will not leave. No. The galaxy is large enough for both of us, but it is not large enough for the old ways of thinking. Admiral Kesavoth felt her mind struggling to understand. What old ways? The belief that might makes right. The belief that advanced species must conquer primitive ones. The belief that there can be only one ruler of the galaxy. On the human command ship, Fleet Coordinator Sang-Woo-Oh was orchestrating the largest peaceful demonstration of force in galactic history. His screen showed the positions of over 2,000 human vessels, all now visible to Confederation sensors. Admiral, he reported to Do-Hyun Choi, all units are in position and transmitting friendship signals. Friendship signals? Yes, sir. Each ship is broadcasting our cultural database, our scientific knowledge, and our trade proposals. Anyone who wants to learn about humanity can access the information freely. Admiral Do-Hyun Choi smiled. Even in a show of overwhelming force, humans were offering gifts instead of threats. Sir, Sang-Woo continued, we are getting responses from across Confederation space. Many individual worlds are expressing interest in establishing relations with us. And their government? Still arguing. On Nexus Prime, the Emergency Council had been in session for 18 straight hours. The revelation of human strength had shattered their understanding of the galaxy. Arguments raged back and forth about what to do. We must surrender, argued Councillor Helteron. They could destroy us all with ease. Surrender is weakness, General Vorks replied. If we submit now, we will never be free again. Free to do what? Asked Admiral Kesavoth via communication link. Free to continue oppressing smaller species. Free to take what we want by force? It is the natural order, General Vorks insisted. The strong rule the weak. Then by that logic, we should submit to humanity immediately. They are clearly stronger than us. The council fell silent. The logic was unassailable. Council leader Vexthul spoke slowly. What exactly are the humans offering? Admiral Kesavoth consulted her notes. Full membership in something called the Galactic Alliance. Equal voting rights with all other species. Free access to human technology and knowledge. Protection from external threats. And what do they want in return? An end to conquest and forced submission. Respect for the rights of all sentient species. Cooperation instead of domination. That is all. That is all. General Vork slammed his fist on the table. It is a trap. They want to weaken us so they can rule us. General, Admiral Kesavoth said quietly, they are already ruling us. They have been for years. They just never told us. The truth of her words settled over the council like a heavy blanket. Back on the Indomitable, Hyun-Woo Kim received an urgent message from the Confederation government. Put it on screen, he told his communications officer. Council leader Vexthul appeared, looking tired and old. Commander Kim, I am authorized to speak for the Confederation Council. I am listening. We need time to consider your offer. Of course.
How much time do you need?
I do not know. This decision will change everything. Our entire society will have to adapt. Hyunwoo nodded understandingly. Change is never easy. We learned that ourselves. How long did it take your species to change? We are still changing, Council Leader. We will always be changing. That is what growing means. And if some of our people cannot accept this new reality, then they will learn to accept it or they will be left behind. But they will not be allowed to harm others while they decide. Council Leader Vexthul was quiet for a long moment. Commander, may I ask you a personal question? Of course. Are your people happy? Living the way you do now? Hyunwoo smiled. Happier than we ever were when we spent our time fighting each other. Happier than we were when we thought strength meant the ability to destroy. What does strength mean to you now? The ability to protect. The ability to help others grow. The ability to turn enemies into friends. And if that is not possible, Hyunwoo's expression grew serious. Then we do what we must to protect ourselves and those we care about. But we tried diplomacy first, always, the communication ended. Council Leader Vexthul turned to face his fellow council members. I believe we have our answer, he said. 3 days later, Admiral Kesevoth stood on the observation deck of the newly commissioned Harmony Station, humanity's first official embassy in Confederation space. Through the transparent aluminum windows, she could see ships from dozens of different species docking and undocking. Human cargo vessels brought advanced medical equipment and clean energy technology. Confederation research ships prepared for joint exploration missions to distant galaxies. Smaller species that had been oppressed for centuries now flew their own ships with pride, protected by the new alliance. It is remarkable, she said to Ambassador Yejin Ryu, who stood beside her. What is remarkable? How quickly everything changed. 6 months ago, we ruled the galaxy through fear. Now we are partners in something much larger. Change is the only constant in the universe, Yejin replied. The choice is whether to change by growing or change by breaking. And the species that chose to break are learning that the universe has moved on without them. Most are coming around. A few are not. Admiral Kesevoth nodded. Some Confederation worlds had refused to join the new alliance. They remained independent but isolated, watching from the edges as the galaxy grew and prospered around them. Do you think we made the right choice? She asked. Yejin smiled. Look around you, Admiral. What do you think? Admiral Kesevoth looked out at the busy space station. Beings from hundreds of different worlds worked together, learned together, explored together. The old barriers between species were disappearing. I think, she said slowly, that we finally learned what the humans knew all along. Which is? That the galaxy is not something to be conquered. It is something to be shared. In the distance, a human exploration vessel prepared to depart for the Andromeda Galaxy. Its crew included representatives from 30 different species, all working together to push the boundaries of known space. The age of conquest was over. The age of exploration had begun, and for the first time in galactic history, every species would face. 3 days after the battle, intelligence analyst Subin Kang made a discovery that changed everything. She was sitting at her station on the Indomitable, listening to intercepted alien communications. Her job was to understand what the Confederation forces were really thinking and planning. What she heard made her blood run cold. Captain, she called to Hyunwoo Kim, you need to hear this. Hyunwoo walked over to her station. Subin played back a recorded conversation between 2 alien commanders. They are talking about bringing in the Annihilation Fleet, she said quietly. Hyunwoo frowned. What is the Annihilation Fleet? According to their communications, it is their most powerful battle group. Ships designed to destroy entire planets. They are calling for it because they think we are planning to invade their core worlds. How long before this fleet arrives? 6 days, sir. Hyunwoo was quiet for a moment, thinking. The Annihilation Fleet would be much more dangerous than the current forces around them. More importantly, it would mean the Confederation was preparing for total war. Subin, I need you to find out everything you can about this fleet. Numbers, weapons, capabilities, everything. Yes, sir. But Captain, there is something else. What? I intercepted another conversation. This one between Admiral Kesevoth and someone on Nexus Prime. They are not just bringing military ships. They are evacuating civilian populations from border worlds. Hyunwoo felt his stomach tighten. Evacuation meant the Confederation expected massive destruction. They thought Earth was coming to conquer the galaxy. "Get me a secure channel to Earth Command," he ordered. "Yes, sir." While Subin worked on her intelligence gathering, Cultural Liaison Hyewan Song was studying the alien psychology profiles. She was a specialist in understanding how different species thought and behaved. Her job was to help avoid misunderstandings that could lead to war. "Captain," she said, looking up from her data screens, "I think I understand what is happening." "Explain." "The Confederation has ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. They have never encountered a species more advanced than themselves. This situation is completely outside their experience. So they are assuming the worst." "Exactly. In their minds, advanced technology equals conquest. They cannot imagine that we might have other goals. What do you recommend?" "We need to show them proof that we are not conquerors." "But words will not be enough. They need to see evidence." Hyunwoo nodded slowly. "What kind of evidence?" "Permission to access the ship's historical database, sir. I want to show them something." Meanwhile, on Admiral Kesavoth's flagship, the mood was dark. The alien officers worked quietly at their stations, preparing for what many believed would be their final battle. The human ship continued its slow advance, seemingly unaware of the massive forces gathering to stop it. "Admiral," called her communications officer, "we are receiving a signal from the human ship." "Put it on screen." Commander Hyunwoo Kim appeared on the display. Behind him, his bridge crew worked calmly at their stations. "Admiral Kesavoth, I understand you are bringing additional forces to this region." "That is correct, Commander. You represent a threat to galactic peace, do we? Or do you simply fear what you do not understand?" Admiral Kesavoth felt anger flare in her chest. "Your ship destroyed 12 of my vessels without effort. Your technology is beyond anything we have encountered. What are we supposed to think?" "You are supposed to think that we disabled your ships without killing anyone. You are supposed to think that we could have destroyed your entire fleet but chose not to. And that makes you peaceful?" Hyunwoo was quiet for a moment. "Admiral, may I show you something?" Before she could answer, her tactical display changed. Instead of showing the current fleet positions, it now showed a view of space she had never seen before. "This is Earth space, as it looks right now," Hyunwoo said. Admiral Kesavoth stared at the display in shock. The space around the human homeworld was filled with ships. Hundreds of ships, thousands. Ships that made the Indomitable look small by comparison. "Those are your warships?" she whispered. "Some of them. Others are cargo vessels, research ships, colony transports. We have many types of ships for many purposes. How many warships? Enough to defend ourselves and our friends. Not enough to conquer a galaxy." Admiral Kesavoth studied the display more carefully. The human fleet was massive, but it was not arranged for attack. The ships were in defensive positions around inhabited worlds and trade routes. "If you have such a large fleet, why send only one ship to contact us?" "Because we hoped one ship would be enough. We hoped you would choose to talk rather than fight. And if we choose to fight anyway?" The display changed again. Now it showed star charts marking human territory. Admiral Kesavoth was amazed to see that humans already controlled nearly a dozen star systems. "We have been expanding slowly and peacefully for 50 years, Hyunwoo explained. "We trade with 17 different species. We have defense agreements with 8 others. We have never forced anyone to join us or submit to us. Then what do you want from us?" "The same thing we want from everyone: trade, knowledge, friendship if possible." Admiral Kesavoth felt confused. Everything she was seeing contradicted her assumptions about the humans. They were not conquerors. They were builders. On Nexus Prime, the emergency council was in chaos. The intelligence about human fleet strength had arrived just minutes earlier. "They have been hiding in plain sight," General Vork said, his insect wings buzzing with agitation. "All these years we thought they were primitive. Meanwhile, they were building the largest fleet in galactic history." "Not the largest," corrected Admiral Kesavoth through the communication link. "The most advanced. Quality over quantity. What difference does it make?" asked Council Leader Vexthal. "They could crush us either way." "The difference is their intentions. I do not think they want to crush us. Then what do they want?" Before Admiral Kesavoth could answer, her communications officer interrupted. "Ma'am, we are getting reports from across the galaxy. Ships are appearing near our major worlds." "What kind of ships?" "Human ships. Dozens of them. They just appeared." The emergency council fell silent. If humans were already at their major worlds, the war was already over before it began. On the Indomitable, Hyunwoo received a priority message from Earth Command. He read it quickly, then called his senior officers to the bridge. The plan has moved to the next phase, he announced. Fleet units are now in position throughout Confederation space. Are we going to attack? Asked Captain Tae Hyun-yoon. No, we are going to demonstrate. Demonstrate what? That we have been protecting them for years without them knowing it. The main screen changed to show a star map of Confederation space. Red dots marked the locations of human ships. There were more red dots than anyone had imagined possible. How long have they been there? Asked So Young Park. Some for weeks, others for years. We have been watching and waiting. Waiting for what? For this moment. For the choice they are about to make. Back on Admiral Kesavoth's ship, the reports kept coming in. Human vessels had appeared near every major Confederation world. But they were not attacking. They were not even threatening. They were just there. What are they doing? She asked her intelligence officer. According to our sensors, nothing. They are maintaining position and monitoring local space. Monitoring for what? Unknown, ma'am. Admiral Kesavoth studied the tactical reports. Something was not right. The human ship positions looked random at first, but when she studied them more carefully, she saw a pattern. Computer. Overlay the positions of human ships with known pirate attack routes. The display changed. Admiral Kesavoth gasped. Every human ship was positioned to intercept known pirate and raider routes. They were not preparing to attack Confederation worlds. They were protecting them. Get me Commander Kim immediately, she ordered. Hyunwoo appeared on her screen within seconds. Commander, your ships are positioned along our trade routes. Yes. Why? Because your trade routes are under constant attack by pirates and raiders. We have been protecting your merchant vessels for 3 years. Admiral Kesavoth felt the world spin around her. Protecting them? Without our knowledge? We tried contacting you several times. You never responded to our diplomatic messages. We never received any diplomatic messages, because your government classified them as hoaxes and destroyed them. Your leaders could not believe that primitives from Earth would try to contact the mighty Confederation. The truth hit Admiral Kesavoth like a physical blow. The humans had been trying to make peaceful contact for years. They had been protecting Confederation shipping without asking for payment or recognition, and the Confederation had ignored them. How many merchant ships have you saved? She asked quietly. Over 400 in the last 3 years. We estimate we have prevented approximately 12 billion credits in losses. And you asked for nothing in return. We asked for nothing because we were not ready to reveal ourselves. We wanted to study your society first, to understand if you would accept us as equals or see us as threats. Admiral Kesavoth looked around her bridge. Her officers stared back at her with confusion and shame. And what have you concluded? She asked. Hyunwoo was quiet for a long moment. We have concluded that you are capable of both wisdom and foolishness. Right now you have a choice to make. What choice?